Welcome back, Jayhawks fans, to Over 50. The Kansas Jayhawks previously beat the St. John's Red Storm 95-75. It was an amazing game from a Christian Braun perspective. I have been waiting for this guy to go off. I remember seeing all the videos of him one-on-one and, shaking and baking and, doing amazing things with the basketball. And just wondering, when are we going to see some of that? Man, we saw some of that against St. John's in, I think it's the USB Center. They ought to just call it the center where the home team can never win, because the hockey team that plays there, they have yet to win a game. But Christian Braun was amazing. And I honestly think that when Bill Self said that there's 8 guys that could potentially be gone from this team, I think CB was one of them. I think he was definitely counting CB. I think CB could be more of a lock to leave the Jayhawks than Jalen Wilson. Now, I know Jalen Wilson's been suspended. He missed the first 3 games. He missed that exhibition game against Emporia State. But if Christian Braun can keep putting together games like he's putting together, I mean, he's going to be amazing. I mean, you just look at this stat line. 31 points, 10 of 16 field goals, and 9 of 10 from the free throw line. Now, I understand that someone's going to say, well, 4 of those was technical foul shots. He still hit them. He still had to shoot them with nobody standing up there with him all by himself. You talk to basketball players, sometimes they'll say that's the hardest thing to do is to shoot a free throw when you're up there all by yourself. So, I don't want to hear that kind of noise. I'm over that. You look at some of the team stats, field goal percentage. Kansas shot 48.6, St. John's 43.6. 3-point. That's where Kansas needs to tighten things up. They were letting St. John's get way too many 3-point attempts, and you just can't do that to really good teams. I think St. John's will be a team that will be a team to reckon with come tournament time, provided they are able to handle business in the Big East. But you can't let a team go off for 40% from 3. Now, that being said, the Jayhawks still won by 20. The Jayhawks were just, otherwise, they were just, David McCormick was playing like a man who was possessed. I mean, I started to wonder if what the fans said to him to piss him off, so that he would actually play like this, because whatever they said to him, maybe we need to put that on a billboard or have somebody walk up to him and say that before each game, because in my opinion, he played amazing. Trying to find the box score here. I had it pulled up, but of course I can't find it when I need to find it. There we go. Box score right there. Right next to Gamecast. McCormick, 27 minutes, 5 or 8 field goals. He didn't take any threes, which is good. He doesn't need to be taking threes. Free throws, he needs to work on that. He only was 5 of 8 from the free throw line, from the charity stripe. But he put in 15 points, had 13 rebounds. That's a good, solid double-double. And that's what you need from David McCormick. You need him to control the middle. You need him to block some shots. He only had 1 block in this game, but just the fact that he's down there makes people think, okay, I've got to rethink, if I'm going to drive to the hoop, I got to be concerned to where he's there. Now, some people might want to get on DeJuan Harris's stats here. He only played 20 minutes. The guy had 4 fouls, so he was on the bench in foul trouble a little bit for the night. He only had 2 points, 4 assists. Not a big stat line for him, but I like something Bill Self said in his presser. He feels that DeJuan gives him more comfort than Remy Martin does playing the KU way. And then this is just something that's going to take Remy Martin, who's coming from Arizona State, basically Guard University. This is going to take Remy some time to get used to how Bill Self wants him to play the game. Remy Martin's not the focal point of this team. This team has many components. You've got Abaji, you've got Braun, CB, you've got McCormick, You've got Jalen Wilson, you've got Mitch Lightfoot. You've just got all sorts of weapons. And I still don't think we've seen the best from Bobby Pettiford. I don't think we've seen the best from Joseph Youssefu, who was really a popular candidate once he hit the transfer portal. Everybody wanted him. And then finally, Bill Self called up and said, hey, what do you think about coming here? And that was the end of the deal. Self said some more things at his presser. He said he thinks that CB right now is climbing up draft boards. And I think if CB continues to play the way he did, I mean, maybe you see CB and Abaji go in the top 5, if not, top 10 definitely. But it all depends on who's picking where, of course, and it all depends on what other players come out. But Christian Braun is playing. He's smart. He can shoot the ball well. He can shoot free throws. He can play defense. He can do all the things that you need a guard to do. And he's got good size, and he plays with enthusiasm. When he threw down both of those dunks along the baseline, he let everybody know on St. John's just exactly what was up and who was owning them. But he did it in a way that didn't get him a technical foul. And I think that was great. Self said that the big run after the lead was cut to 3 was basically when they started guarding people. And I got to agree. The Jayhawks were just letting them shoot threes, like, handing a 3-year-old M&Ms. They're just going to keep putting them in their mouth. And they kept putting the ball through the hoop. And then finally you started guarding them. You take the M&Ms away from the 3-year-old. The 3-year-old can't eat them. Okay. You start guarding the players that are draining the threes, and you don't give them those open looks, they're not going to make them. He was really, Self said he was pissed off when he called that timeout to start the second half. Those are his words. He said that was just a pissed off timeout. We weren't playing well. We let them, get way back into the game when they shouldn't have been there. And he was just mad as all get out, which I think is a good use of a timeout. Get that point across to your team that, hey, they need to start, picking up and playing the KU way. They rebounded much better against Dayton. I would tend to agree with that. They definitely did not give a lot of second chance points. Like I said, I think the biggest problem with this game against St. John's was the 3-point shooting. And go back to the game cast, I think they shot 40.7% from 3-point range, something like that. Yeah, 40.7% right here. That was the big problem with this game, because they shot 40.7%. That's not what I meant to highlight. There we go. He said that the ball tends to stick with Remy occasionally. And sometimes, he said it would be better if Remy, he said it would be better if Remy didn't bring up the ball. Sometimes Remy holds on to it a little bit too much, and I could see that. And I better pause this before. I don't have any video on it, but there was one of CB's. There's one of CB's jams right there. All right, let me go ahead and pause that. So I can let me pause that. There we go. Hopefully YouTube doesn't. Well, I'm gonna get monetized anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter a whole lot. But that's just another great play by CB. But he said sometimes it's better when DeJuan Harris brings up the ball, and sometimes when Jalen Wilson brings up the ball, he can really push it in transition. I think Kansas needs to get better at defending the 3, and they need to get better at handling pressure. That being said, the Jayhawks have a game coming up tomorrow night. I'm trying to pull that up for you right now. Should have had multiple windows pulled up, but they're going to play UTEP, University of Texas, El-Paso. It's an 8:00 game. It's going to be at the Fog, 8 p.m. on the Big 12 network and the ESPN Plus network. 96.7% prediction for Kansas. I don't see Kansas having any difficulty here with UTEP. UTEP, they are 4-3, but if you look at who they have played, looks like they played New Mexico State. They played Western New Mexico, Northern New Mexico. So basically they've just lived in the state of New Mexico. Of course, Texas El Paso is not that far from New Mexico. They played Pacific, which I believe is one of the teams that Gonzaga whips up on every year. University of Cal, Riverside, Florida A&M, and then New Mexico State again. So this is a team that has not been tested. They will get a test, and when they walk into Allen Fieldhouse, they're first in Conference USA, but that doesn't, to me, that doesn't say a whole lot, because if you look at the competition that they've played, they really haven't played anybody. I mean, pull up New Mexico State's record, see what their record is. They're 6-2, first in the WAC. There are only 2 losses. Obviously, they've been to UTEP, but they played University of Cal, Irvingside, Utah State. They played Indiana State. They played Davidson. I don't know. Davidson used to be a semi-decent team, but I really think that this Kansas game against New Mexico State is not going to be much of a it's not going to be much of a conquest. I think Kansas is going to dispatch of New Mexico State. I think they're going to dispatch of UTEP pretty easily. I don't see Kansas having too much of a difficulty with that. And then when Kansas finally does that, they will eventually move into their conference schedule. I think they play Missouri after UTEP. And then once they play Missouri, I think they start to get into conference. But actually, they play Missouri, they play Stephen F. Austin, Colorado, Harvard, and then they get into tournament play. So the next 5 games: UTEP, Missouri, Stephen F. Austin, Colorado, and Harvard. So looks like most of those games will be televised. Missouri will be on ESPN. Stephen F. Austin will probably be on the ESPN Plus, along with as is UTEP, and probably Harvard, Colorado. It's on ESPN too, as you can see here. But Christian Braun, he was the man, and led Kansas to that big win over St. John's, 95-75. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and close this video out. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. I'm having to record this outside because my grandkids are inside and they keep opening the door. So I know the lighting is not the greatest. I have a different type of mic, so hopefully it's working better. But hopefully after tomorrow night, we'll have some more great KU basketball to talk about, and this team will be taking another step towards a national championship title. So with that, y'all take care, Jayhawk fans. Rock Chalk Jayhawk, and until next time, later.